Greetings and salutations, viewers and listeners. Welcome to episode 123 of Word Ninjas Live. Yes, after a month, we are back for one more episode because we just couldn't get enough of it. For one last time, I am your instigator of literary and creative insanity, productivity, creativity, and whatever the hell else we do this year. And hey, we have some of my crew tonight as well. Who else is with me?
I'm here, mostly conquering Concrud, but I'm still here, Will. Will has the will to fight through the Concrud.
And Justin is fighting the good fight over at work. And boy, do I have some stories.
Are there stories you're allowed to tell on recording live on air?
Yes.
That is surprising.
I will say the word customer and not
And that is the entire story, just the word customer.
customers.
All right, we came back one last time because we just went to a convention. And as is per tradition, we do convention reviews. And seeing as we do not have our other podcast up and running yet, this is the most appropriate way to go about it. Seeing as we did YourMiniCon 2015 and the con review on this show, we might as well do YourMiniCon 2016. Yes, that's the year now. I think. Maybe.
The math checks out.
I have also been doing all sorts of work shenanigans and battling politics and whatnot, so my brain is somewhat fried. And I don't really want to do math. But we did a convention last weekend over in Meriden, Connecticut, and YourMiniCon is now 2 years old. We went to it last year as a brand new convention, and as our review from last time around kind of discussed, there were things they needed to learn or aspects that they could tweak and evolve, try and make more efficient. And since then, they have taken a lot to heart. And for year two, the second convention they've done so far, I feel like they made a lot of progress and did a lot of things right. So I'd like to wait and see if Calvin can join us properly, so I will keep talking until he is ready to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Calvin. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yay. Yeah,
So,
Calvin Williams here, reporting for duty.
huzzah.
Had to deal with technical issues, as per usual. Well, more than usual, actually. But it was nothing that a new Firewire cable couldn't fix.
What would an episode be without some technical shenanigans?
An unusual one.
We were just about to dive into YourMiniCon 2016 discussions about all the things that went right. What were the good things?
I got me a companion for Pikathulu here. That's one of
They're
the things that went
growing.
right. Yes. But besides these guys, there was a lot that was absolutely wonderful about your minicon, at least for me anyway. And we lost somebody.
Apparently, Justin does not approve of Cthulhu's. Or the Cthulhu's ate him as soon as they went off screen. But continue.
I definitely tried to make up for last year, at the very least, and I feel like I accomplished that. There was so I mean, everything is a lot that was different, like even down to the layout this year. There was a lot more to explore, and in turn, a lot of new faces and even a lot of familiar faces. And we've really gotten to the point where like, we're we've just gotten to kind of know everybody. It's almost starting to feel like.
That's what happens when we're stubborn and we keep at it for 5 years straight.
Oh, apparently, there's a lot of people who can, at the very least, appreciate our stubbornness and are generally glad to see us. Let's see who do we say hi to this weekend? Let's see. We had Katie.
Everyone.
We had Katie. We had E.A. Rappaport, Sal Del Greco, Scott Hamilton, Rusty, Aaron Wood. That was nice. Always nice seeing him.
So Katie from A&D Duct Tape, EA
Yep.
Rappaport, and Sal Del Greco from Owl
Owl
King
King.
Publishing.
Mm-hmm.
Scott from Hamiltunes, I believe.
Yep. That's right.
And then Rusty from Rusty.
Rusty Gilligan. We should at the very least give his entire name,
True.
so people will at the very least know kind of who we're talking about. Aaron Wood, a graphic designer. He does a lot of Art Deco and propaganda style posters, which are amazing.
I feel like we've seen it at every single convention we've gone to.
Just about. Just about.
There might be one, or I think maybe just Inconceivable.
Yes. Speaking of inconceivable, we got to see RJ and Amelia. So it was very nice to see all of them again. I got a chance to, besides my usual take pictures of all the things duties, I actually took some time to like stop and actually like really chat with people, chat with some of the guests, a lot of the cosplayers.
And there were a fair amount of them.
Yeah, yes. This year, like, there was a pretty good cosplayer turnout this year. And just about all the cosplayers are pretty damn awesome. Lively, fun to talk to, a little bit out there, which is kind of up our alley. So
Yeah, just like us, really.
exactly. And I feel like this year I felt a lot different from like a lot of the other conventions that I've gone to. Like a lot of the nervousness and anxiety that I've had in previous cons was just about gone. I was just there to kind of have fun and not really let loose too much, but kind of get to be myself. Well, be myself in a really cool steampunk outfit, which went over very well this year.
You were on point this time round, both in costume and in work, or whatever it is that we do. I'm blanking on what phrase I want to use.
Productivity?
Yeah, let's go with that. I mean, you got a lot of good photos taken, and anyone who checks out the Facebook page can go appreciate them, along with everyone else. And I know you recorded a panel, and I attempted to record a panel. I still have to double check my backup audio because my camcorder did not pick up any of it.
Really?
Yeah, I checked the audio side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Silence.
if need be, if you can, send the video to me. I actually experienced the same thing with the video that you sent me,
That's weird.
um but Adobe Premiere picked up the audio. The Adobe
That's
Premiere saw that there was audio there, so
that's
if
what I tossed it in though. I
oh
tossed
really?
both of them in Audit Adobe Premiere, and mine had no sound, and yours had sound. Yours was loud and clear. So technical shenanigans continue. We'll play with that off air. So maybe there will be a second panel after all. Not to mention there is still the backup audio from my field recorder, so we'll see what we can do about that. Because it was a good panel, and I'd like to get it up if we can.
All right, we'll work that out. Speaking of panels, another friend of ours, Sarah Hodge Weatherby. She was the one that presented the steampunk and anime panel that I attended and recorded. And you know me, anything relating to steampunk, I'm all for it. And it's always fun chatting with Sarah. She's a just a an absolute tome of pop culture knowledge and just general awesomeness. But yeah, this con was a lot different for me um, compared to a lot of the other cons from even last year. I felt really good on this one. I kind of felt re-energized, and I guess it could kind of show with the amount of interaction that I had this weekend and all the pictures that I took. So I got my fair share out of it.
And all your pictures made the rounds on the internet, and we got lots of likes and follows on those pictures too.
Yeah, we cleaned up pretty good with those pictures, man.
We went gangbusters.
Like how our page gained, I think, yeah, 44 new likes this week.
Not too shabby.
Not even this week, just between between Saturday and today. So
We're actually relatively close to hitting the new landmark of 200.
yeah, that's pretty exciting. Oh my goodness, 8,123 post reach this week. Not bad. Not bad at all. But yeah, who else has fun things to say, or things in general to say about the con?
It was nice seeing all of our friends there, along with some people from Kineticon.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was nice to see how this convention was able to grow as a second year convention. They created a new layout for the vendor room. They were able to double the space, and the traffic flow was pretty solid. There was one spot that kind of had a traffic jam from time to time just because of how the tables were laid out, but it was never really bad. And I know that our table got plenty of traffic, even in the back corner, and everyone who stopped by was very pleasant, seemed to have a lot of fun, and enjoyed our creation station.
Yeah, Ed's new creation station at the booth was huge. I would say it brought more people in than we've ever had, including, I mean, by rate, I would say, and percentage of people stopping by.
Hmm.
Obviously, larger cons, there's more traffic flow, but I'd say we did really well this year as far as booth visitation. and now we can kind of expand on that and then focus on retention and turnover and all the other marketing businessy words. But we've got a
All of the
good,
buzzwords.
yep, we've got a good baseline to work from now, which is really good. And we even have some ideas on enhancing it for. I was out for the first part of the podcast, so I'm assuming we're still doing con review. You haven't talked about anything else? Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll leave that for later.
We're
But
still talking
got,
about all the good things that went on. You're welcome to join in, considering your bouncy connection.
Yeah, I think I figured it out. I shouldn't start Hangouts when my computer's not done booting up yet because it locks it up.
Oh.
So I think we're pretty stable now. I'm watching the monitor, watching the CPU usage, so I think we're good for now. If computer, but this year was not filled with lots of stress. I would say I was probably more stressed out about work, which may say more about my work than it does about the con. But it's a shame that we couldn't. I understood why they didn't do that with such a small convention. It turned out not to be the end of the world. Our ability to get, get food in the morning. We were pretty much, wake up, set up the booth, and then it's game on from that point on. Other than that, I mean, it was pretty standard fare. A lot. It means they're just one of the conventions now, and everything sort of all blends into. But I would say things are going fine with that convention. I didn't. I was probably paying more attention to my work than I was at the say, except that it was.
And there he goes.
And he's gone. Hopefully we can get him back sometime soon.
And on a more stable connection.
That's always fun to edit.
Sorry.
Not your fault. Comes with the territory, I assume. Usually it's my audio I have to fix that's all crunchy.
We're trading off this time.
I'll fill his spot while he shenanigans around. Excuse me. Aside from getting Concrod, which is probably worth it in retrospect, considering how great the weekend was, I think this convention was probably one of the least stressful conventions we've had.
I would agree with that.
I mean, I don't remember any complaints about getting information, setting up load-ins, load-outs, what passes we have. We pretty much just got that information right off the bat. We got in. We were a day early so we could relax a bit.
I'm laughing about that because I was, for the first time, the first person to arrive on scene.
And conversely, I was the last.
Yeah, I feel like we swapped places on this time around. But in the interest of fairness, I took a different mode of transportation this time around. I usually take the bus or the train or one of those and have somebody pick me up from the train or the bus station. But this time around, I rented a car because I have a license now and I need to take advantage of it while Operation ... car continues.
Someday,
Yeah.
eventually, maybe, you'll be able to drive that car.
I'm curious how many swears that one ellipsis is just covering up.
At least 2 months worth.
But it was also nice getting home the same day as the convention ended instead of super early in the morning the next day.
Yes, that was quite a refreshing change for once. Like, I think I got home around 9 o'clock, but I didn't actually like settle into the house until like a little later because, well, about 10 because I had to find somewhere to park. And parking in my neighborhood on a Sunday night is damn near impossible. But totally worth it.
Hmm.
10 out of 10 would rent again.
Yeah, it was a good convention. It was a lot of fun. Like it rained, but
It's better than the ice day we had last year.
definitely better than ice. I could put up with the rain. Yeah, I think it went really well, and it was a lot of fun. And I don't know if we talked about what we experimented on at the booth this time, but that was a lot of fun too.
We just mentioned a little bit of it offhand, but we
Mm.
probably should go into detail.
Yes. Yes, we should.
So it was the idea of the one who is rarely on the show because he works 50,000 hours a day doing various things, but Ed decided to turn our booth into a creation station. So expanding beyond just the typewriter's convention story, but also having paper and art supplies for people to sketch whatever they want. And it went over very well from what I saw. We had a lot of people participate in that. And we have almost a dozen pieces that I'm not sure if they were posted up yet or not. I've been out of the loop because of work.
I'm going to get to that tonight after this podcast, or maybe I could do it while we're here. I've been I've been trying to social media like crazy, trying to get all the pictures and the tagging correctly up on Facebook.
Excuse me.
But definitely, well worth the time and the effort. And oh yeah, and also getting the steampunk and anime panel up on YouTube, which got up on YouTube this morning.
Yep, and I posted it on our Facebook page as well.
All right, excellent.
But not on Tumblr yet because I keep forgetting to add that to my phone again.
Yeah, when it happens, it happens.
Hmm.
The important thing is I got it up on YouTube with very few issues.
Hooray! We've mentioned a lot of old friends that we've seen. I just pulled out all the various business cards that I'd saved, and there were two that I have seen at most conventions but never really got a chance to talk to, but So and So Plushies was there. They also seem to follow us around the convention circuit. And Happy Kitty Studio, who is always a fun time. I think Kineticon primarily, because everyone is at Kineticon. And I talked for a good while with someone relatively new, at least to me, or at least I haven't been able to spot his booth yet until now, but Tom Ryan's studio, if I'm reading the little card right. He's a really cool artist who was over in one of the middle aisles. Talked to him for a little while and bought one of his sketches of a TARDIS. I'd actually like to get him on for an interview at some point, because he was a blast. And all the other cards I have are from people that we already know and talked about. Because, kind of like Calvin, we're beginning to just know everyone.
Not sorry. Not in the least.
I can see Justin frowning in disappointment and anger at our networking.
I'm just upset. How's
How
my
dare we
volume
not?
level?
You're fine.
Okay, good. Yeah,
And a
so
lot better.
I haven't wired an Ethernet cable to that location because I hadn't anticipated doing a video thing.
Sorry.
Nope, that's fine. Now I'm here.
I did it just to throw you off.
That's fine. It wouldn't be a podcast featuring us without some massive, woeful technical difficulties. In summary of what you probably had to hear in a very horrible, crunchy, low bandwidth mode, the convention was, to me, standard fare convention, which is actually a compliment from me because conventions sort of blend together as I'm really not a convention kind of person. So the fact that there was no drama and no highlights from my part meant that everything went smoothly, and they're now a real convention. And that says a lot.
Yeah, thankfully, YourMiniCon was not just a one-event wonder. They've actually managed to make it to a second year, and their aspirations for this year are actually pretty inspiring. Something we haven't mentioned is last year they had one convention in January, and that was it. Next year, or this year, we went to their second convention, and they're planning eventually to have a convention per month.
Not all in Connecticut, but in
no.
general. And that's actually more impressive because there's travel time in between.
Yeah. Like, I think eventually they want to have one in every state, which is pretty damn impressive. And I wish them the best because their Will and Melissa are really very nice people. And their goal is incredibly ambitious and it's not going to be easy, but I hope they are able to pull it off.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll be able to visit some of the conventions that are more local to the New England area.
I'm still tempted to go to the one in Maine.
We'll talk about logistics off air.
Justin's paying for everything.
No. Carpool. Probably fit some boost stuff in my car.
I can rent another car. Well, depending on how Operation ... Infinity Car keeps going. I'll be down for whatever. Y'all just let me know.
Yep. We've talked about all the good and fantastic and wonderful things that happened. Was there anything at the convention that was seen as a complication or a confusion point or anything that could be improved upon?
This is a chance for valuable feedback.
While you two think of, well, you three, now that you're all here, think of responses, there were two things that come to mind for me. One was while the layout for vendor areas was good, some tables expanded more so than others, creating kind of a choking point in traffic flow.
I was going to bring that up. I wasn't sure if you covered it already while I was out. But so what happened, I was there during that whole phase, and it was more of a if you give an inch, they'll take a mile situation, where the initial booth setup was a very standard booth setup, But then the people were complaining about the booth size and wondering, oh, can we, we have 2 tables. Can we just shift this table forward a little bit? And they're like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And so what the vendors did is they shifted their table to almost the other end of the hallway and then stacked all their stuff up. I don't know if that's necessarily a failing on the convention besides just telling them, hey, you can't, that's not how this works. I did see that, and to the point where other tables adjacent to them were expanding or grumbling that they couldn't expand or that it wasn't fair that other people were expanding into the hall.
And by hall, we mean like the little walkway area
Right.
for attendee foot traffic. I presume we're talking about the same
Yes.
vendor.
It was at the point that when I was entering the room after leaving, that instead of going through the first door that would lead me straight to the booth, I was going through the middle door and cutting across.
Ah.
So, yes, I feel your pain.
It wasn't an outright roadblock or anything, but most of the paths were able to fit 2-3 people, 2-3 people wide. This one kind of boiled it down to one person at a time, or one gigantic inflatable robot person from Big Hero 6, and I'm blanking on the character's name.
The one.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure
Famous.
how that person got around. Yeah. I'm always impressed by those cosplayers, but that cannot be easy to get around in. And then the other complication point was vendor retention, or maybe more vendor respect. I'm not quite sure what it would boil down to, but there was a lot of shuffling about in musical chairs on Sunday because several tables opened up due to some vendors effectively bailing or leaving early.
There were some that were there that were advertised in advance as Saturday-only guests. I don't fault them for that, but maybe some planning. And there was a new booth on Sunday that wasn't there on Saturday. So
I didn't notice that.
They were trying to, at least I think there was a place selling like necklaces of little stone trinkets.
No, I saw that.
Was that on Saturday?
I saw that on Sunday. I didn't recognize where it had come from. I thought it was just one of the tables moving around.
I think that was they got in on a Sunday because they knew that Saturdays were free. And they probably needed to fill those spaces a little bit more because there was a big back corner that was basically completely empty as people were shuffling to the front corner. And that's great for all the tables that are in the middle because they can just shift over. But the people on the outer edge kind of got screwed because they couldn't really move effectively, the ones that were on the back wall. But yeah, there were people and there were guests that were Saturday only. So it wasn't like they were, I don't think a lot of people were leaving unhappy. That's not the impression I got, at least.
Yeah. It was just somewhat confusing as a lot of tables shuffled about on Sunday compared to Saturday.
They should have done what, I think it was Kineticon, where the guest, like the Saturday-only people were on, like, all together in one row. And that could have been a people on, just one set of tables that, between Saturday and Sunday, you can either remove those tables entirely and open up the floor a little bit, and no one would even notice that they were gone. So instead of having 3 rows of tables, they would have 2 rows of tables. That probably would have worked out. But maybe there's too many people to do that. They're in a weird in-between space.
Yeah, I don't know what any of the behind-the-scenes logistics were for any of that. It's just something I kind of noticed more as from an attendee perspective. If as being there for both days, it was weird to see things shuffle about. Were there any other complications or concerns or critiques from others?
Nothing that hasn't really already been said.
It was unfortunate that the restaurant's kitchen lost power on Sunday, but that's not really anybody's fault.
Hmm. Yeah, if the restaurant they had on site did the best they could with what they had, which is about on par with last year. It's just last year they had a lot more to deal with
Hmm.
multiple events happening the same weekend.
Yeah, I managed to get to the restaurant a few times during the weekend, including some bar hopping, and I didn't notice anything bad. I thought they were great Sunday morning. It would have been, when there's specials going on at the place next door, and you have a bunch of guests that you know are coming, you should probably I don't know, include that in your little flyer. Like, hey, visit the restaurant next door for $3 off breakfast. That's the kind of thing that you should probably tell a lot of people
There were
instead of
specials.
instead of people just going to the breakfast and then finding out later. Oh, did you get a $3 coupon? I'm like, no, it's the first I've heard of it. Like, oh well, we'll just give you $3 off this thing. I'm like, I feel like that would have been good information for other people to know.
Agreed.
And their again, this is not the fault of the convention, but their radio on Saturday kept cutting in and out, depending on where people were located in the room. It was like we were acting as antenna for the wireless speakers to pick us up on. It was weird.
Hmm.
And there was again, not the convention's fault. I don't know why we keep hammering this poor place next to the hotel. But during the breakfast, it was help yourself to walk over and sit down. But there's this little foyer area, and then the kitchen's behind that, and no one was really manning the foyer. You were expected to just know that you were supposed to walk in by yourself. Usually restaurants have a sign that say, please seat yourself, and then on the other side it says, please wait to be seated. But I didn't see any sign like that. That would have been useful. But again, not the convention's fault.
Hmm.
Oh, that was one thing that I noticed. Did you guys notice any bathroom signage?
Only that there were men's and women's restrooms within the building.
Yeah, so I didn't. I found them. They were. If you walk past the restaurant, the public restroom is right there. And I thought it was odd that I didn't see any signs leading to that point. Like, hey, restrooms this way.
I only knew where they were because of last year.
There are some
There
there,
are,
and there were some over by where the elevator are on the other side behind the reception desk.
yeah,
We literally walked past them every time we got off the elevator on the ground floor.
Oh,
Yes.
I never saw it.
Or use the stairs.
Yeah.
That was
Uh,
one silly thing, but again, not the convention's fault, just the location. The elevator liked to play games with us.
You notice that the elevator stopped working every now and then for no reason?
It liked to play games with
yes.
us.
It would be stuck with the doors open on the floor, and you would walk in, press a button, and it wouldn't do anything. So you'd have to walk out and just take the stairs. It was something was going on.
Yeah, I was trying to take the elevator up to the room, and there was I was sharing the elevator with another guy that was trying to go to the fifth floor. Like I clearly pressed the 2 button. I hit 2, and I hit 5, and the elevator was like, yeah, about that second floor. No, I'm gonna go to the fifth floor first. They
I,
completely disregarded the second floor.
I noticed the elevators did not like the second floor in particular. There were a couple times where we were on the second floor going to go down, and we pushed the button, and the light lit up, and the elevator did the ding like it was on our floor, but then the doors wouldn't open.
Oh, at one point, I hit the button and nothing happened. It might as well have been disconnected.
That's why I
And
mostly just took the stairs without even checking.
there was definitely one point where it dinged on me and said, I'm on the floor, but then it didn't open. So I went down the stairs, and when I got downstairs, both elevators were listed as being on floor 2.
Some programming errors. Whatever RAM buffer they're using to store, all the people's requests during heavy traffic times obviously got fudged.
So overall, for YourMiniCon 2016, it went over well for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. A plus minus would join again.
A plus minus.
Yeah.
What kind of review is that?
I usually say A plus plus.
Mm.
I'm turning one of the pluses into a minus.
So would you recommend people to check out YourMiniCon in the future, either again in Connecticut or at one of their other locations throughout the year?
How much were the passes? Because we got vendor passes, so I don't know what the retail
Uh,
pass was.
20 for Saturday, 25 for Sunday, and then $5 more at the door. I don't know what an overall weekend pass was offhand.
Seems like a lot, but it was full. People were there. I think maybe it was cheaper if you got them in earlier.
I'm pretty sure they had early bird
Yeah, I
rates.
thought there was a $15 rate at some point.
Most likely.
But yeah, I'm not one to judge because I'm not really a convention person in general anyways. I'm just kind of along for the ride most of the time.
At least as an attendee.
Yeah. I was trying to explain to my friend that. He wanted me to go to a legit Comic-Con in California. And I was like, oh, hell no. And he's like, what, you go to conventions all the time? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. He's like, oh, what? Why the double standard? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. This is for work. I wouldn't normally be here. Not that the convention's bad. It's just conventions in general. I'd go to a PAX or a CES or E3
Book
before I'd
Expo.
go to, because I'm just not part of the culture. I don't know any of these obscure anime. I don't
So
buy things that are dust collectors really anymore.
no San Diego Comic-Con for you?
No, and I don't want to go to Dragon Con. There's just
I don't blame you.
no.
I'm not brave enough for Dragon Con. And neither is my liver.
I,
Mhm.
I feel like it's on par with how I feel about like Burning Man. Hey, that's a cool place. I'm glad people are enjoying it. If somebody ever wanted me to go, I'd be like, nope, I'm good.
Mhm.
Hard pass. You know, one thing that I don't know if anyone brought up, uh, what I like about your mini cons, they're very family friendly oriented. There's a lot of kids there, and one of the guests was interesting. It was the second actress that plays the girl in Lazy Town. And when I saw that on the list, I'm like, wow, this is a really odd choice for a guest. Why, it didn't fit in my brain. And then after going to the convention and seeing, oh, this really is a family-friendly environment. There's a lot of parents with their kids. There is a wide age range of people there. And so, yeah, I like how they keep it. They try to keep it family-friendly.
Yeah, I think they did a respectable job of that.
Yeah, they had as small of a convention as the convention was. They had a lot of variety.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to go there for your MiniCon 2017.
I'm sure we will.
So long as there's not an inconceivable scenario that happens.
Fingers crossed. I'd be
Yep.
most disappointed.
Hmm. All right, with that, let's migrate to the other discussion point for tonight.
David Bowie.
What about him?
He passed away a
He's
day
no
or
longer
two
with
ago.
us.
That's not the second topic. I thought that was the only. That was just the two of two. It's a shame that when that I don't go through an artist's like discography until they've passed away. I feel like I need to start catching up on other people's discographies before they pass away, so I can appreciate them while they're alive. Uh, the the latest album, Black Star, is a really cool album. I like a lot of stuff that's on there. And going back through the discography, there's a lot of great songs that that David Bowie has that were not ever played on the radio. And I highly recommend people try to dig through the catalog. And there's just such a variety of music there, and it's all very well produced, very good. I do A++ would recommend David Bowie.
A++, so even more than your MiniCon.
Yep, David Bowie's marginally better than YourMiniCon. Sorry, YourMiniCon. I'm sure you guys understand.
So the third discussion point for tonight. Last episode, almost a month ago, we discussed how we are now getting weird.
Sorry, a huge truck just drove by. That was made of motorcycles, I'm pretty sure.
That's impressive. How we were going to evolve full coverage writers into a new company that can do more than just help writers. And we were going to take time off to pull that off. And yes, we took the time off. And we realized a few things along the way as to just what full coverage writers is going to do within that new organization. A lot of the content that we're creating and a lot of the products that we have will properly evolve and be retained, but completely rebranded under the new company. And some of the products that we have and some content ideas are going to be shelved, potentially indefinitely, because as a business, we are going to have to make some choices and say we can't do everything, or at least not all at once. What that means is full coverage writers is effectively going to be completely absorbed and rebranded as the new company. So everything that was full coverage writers is going to be renamed, some new imagery, some new logos, some new music, a little bit of everything. And we kind of left that open-ended last episode. So I wanted to help make that a little more declarative, since this is officially and declaratively the final episode of Word Ninjas Live, as far as we know. Which is nice, since it's a fun number of episode 123.
As somebody who does math, I can appreciate that.
Now, we are not killing off our podcast outright. We
or
are
the crew members.
The last one to survive gets to decide the new podcast. That would not end well.
Yeah, because Calvin's so far away.
He would win.
By default.
Haha.
The new podcast will continue in the near future. We're still hammering out some logistics to pull it off. But what will be shifting is it will no longer be a live stream. We are pulling back from the live stream aspect of it simply so we can take more time to do our research and compile our discussions on various topics and record them, clean them up, add extra resources, come back to them over time, and flesh them out even more. There's just certain things that we can't do while on a live stream. We have to cut it short because of time, or if we run over on a topic, we have to cut things out. But if we pre-record stuff, we have a little more freedom in that respect. The other big aspect is it will no longer be a video podcast. We are pulling back to audio only. Now, we are going to put some effort into creating a YouTube-friendly version of the audio podcast, so we can still put up the podcast on our YouTube channel for those who listen to us via that way, because I know there are a few of you. We don't want to cut you out. So we're going to make what efforts are necessary to make that happen. And going forward, it's going to be slightly different. It's not going to be all four of us every single time. It's going to be a little more varied. We're going to have a lot more freedom in what we do and how we go about it. So we're going to be able to discuss things in more detail, provide more resources, get interviews from multiple people, multiple formats, not just writers. We can do artists, musicians, other vendors, convention coordinators, local businesses, whoever we decide to talk to that sparks our interest. And ideally, we would like, not we, I would like for that to launch next month in February. Realistically, we shall see. That I'm unfortunately going to have to leave open-ended because we just have not fully pinned down all of the logistics for that yet. We are hoping to do more of those logistics, pinning down activities, stuff, and things this week and next so that we can launch next month. And we will keep you all informed via social media once everything is good to go and ready. And for the audio stream on iTunes, we'll toss up a short little extra blip on the end of this entire feed to say, hey, we're switching over to this location, so go over here to find the new feeds. Because we're also going to split up and archive the Word Ninjas live stream in a new feed, all of the not suitable for Word Ninjas episodes into its own feed, and the new podcast in its own feed. So if you don't necessarily want to listen to our NSFWN stuff in the archives, but all of the other stuff, you'll have the ability to pick and choose. I think that covers the majority of it, but is there anything else that people would like to toss in regards to where we go from here?
Sure. I want to say a few things. One, on the surface, this sounds like a step back, but I assure everyone that's been keeping up with us that it's a step forward. Our production value is going to go up. I don't know if CJ was comfortable in saying what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyways because I'm going to really push for this.
Mute.
Oh, no. We're still going to have the occasional live episode, even live video episodes. They are going to be special. We're not sure what we're going to do with them quite yet and how much production value will need to go into it. A lot of that's still up in the air, but you will see our faces again. We will still have series like Game Break, which will feature either our voices and gameplay, or if I'm doing some sort of weird Twitch stream, which I have a lot of plans of what I'm going to do for the next year. You will still see our lovely faces. You can still visit us at conventions. We're going to be at more conventions, not necessarily at a table, but we're going to be visiting a lot of places, so keep an eye out for us. Keep an eye out on us for our social media so you can see where we're going to be. And we'll definitely be able to, meet our fans and very safely in neutral areas and not in back alleys. So yeah, this is definitely a step forward, and it's going to be a little rocky for the first couple months as we transition and ramp up. But I assure you, there's going to be a ton more content, a wider breadth of content. There's things that we haven't been able to do or have had trouble doing, like CJ, you're saying about the interviews. Even more technical difficulties transpire when you have people who have never used Google Hangouts before try to do an interview. It will be nice when I can, go to this person's house, drop down the H2 mic, record a one-on-one and throw that right into the podcast between some bumper music. That's going to be way better.
Presumably they expect you before you just show up and break into their house.
Well, I am going to be, wearing a suit and tie and carrying a big black book, so I'm sure, they'll open their door like they would anyone else. Production value is going to go way up. There's going to be more content. There's going to be just as much video content. It may not be in the podcast video style, but we're definitely going to have some features going on. Depending on what we record on our travelogue series, we're going to have tons of video on that, pictures. There's going to be a ton more stuff that you guys are going to be able to enjoy, and you're going to be able to connect with us on a whole new level once we set everything up. So I'm very excited for what's going on in the future.
Yeah, it's a greater variety of content.
It's giving ourselves an opportunity to expand our horizons a little bit.
And to encourage the expansion of your horizons, dear listeners.
Exactly. It's basically a journey of growth that we're all going to be going on together.
My favorite part is I'm not going to have to shave anymore. I can just let myself go, really, because I'm not going to be on camera as often. I'll have a virtual stand-in every now and then. Don't tell anyone, but I pre-ordered the Oculus Rift, so expect some Oculus Rift shenanigans that are going to be on video, I'm sure. Probably me bumbling around my room like an idiot. It will be hilarious.
Are we going to have someone with the GoPro recording you trying to use the Oculus Rift?
Sure. Yes, we do have a GoPro also that I've tested out. I built a Lego mount to it, so I could stick it onto a Lego train and drive it around. So that was pretty funny. So yeah, we'll have lots of short little pieces of content like that. Lots more series, lots articles, everything. Super exciting. More than ever before. And we're going even more legit, which would be cool. Not that CJ wasn't legit already, but it would be nice being part of something bigger.
We'll be legit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that, it is time to wrap up this episode and this series. So now is your chance for parting words from Word Ninjas Live. 123 episodes. I believe over 2 years at this point of content and shenanigans and ridiculousness.
And awkward silences.
And technical shenanigans.
Shut up. Everything's fine.
But more than anything, 2+ years of exploration, fun times, laughs, weird moments, and more importantly than anything, growth on all our parts. So while I'm kind of sad that this journey is coming to an end, I can be happy with everything that we managed to accomplish in 123 episodes, both professionally and personally. And this is only the beginning for us.
It really is. As much as we have done and accomplished and grown since episode 1, there is so much more ahead of us.
I think we are... Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, and I, for one, am excited to move forward.
As am I. I'm looking forward to branching out and just taking more risks. I think it's safe to say that as fun as this is going to be quite a risk on all our parts as well. But you really can't. Yeah, growth is really not sustainable or attainable without a little bit of risk every now and then. So
Agreed.
it's time to take some chances. Thankfully, this is nothing too terribly dangerous. I'm not planning on doing any terribly weird stunts or anything for just for extra clickbait.
But we have a GoPro now. Doesn't that mean we're all extreme athletes automatically, and we can snowboard off ramps, off helicopters, and through burning buses? That's not what the GoPro does?
Parkour, all the things.
Yes,
I'll let Justin go first.
that's fine.
Calvin, you are also the one that ran out into the middle of a busy street to take a photo of a statue.
From ground level.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. That's right. I did. Wow. So, yeah, what I just said before there, don't listen to me. Be on the lookout for me to start doing even more dangerous stunts and stunt driving. God help us all.
I slept
Stunt
through
all the
most of
things.
that.
Yeah, I heard some stories.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was good you slept through most of that.
I did it on purpose.
I'm glad you did. Yeah, unexpected highway stunt driving in a torrential downpour. At least one of us was awake for it.
Moving on.
So I feel like this isn't necessarily really saying goodbye. We're sort of, think of it as molting and shedding the skin that we have now outgrown and budding in a new layer of skin or scales or whatever your other kin is. Uh, it's time to move forward. It's time to expand. Full coverage writers might exist in some form in the near future. Uh, our new company is still going to cover writing, and as you know, most of us do writing in one form or another. There's probably going to be just as much, if not more, writing content on the website. The one thing I'm looking forward to is having a system set up where I can do my own thing and write my own article and take my own pictures and then just throw them right up onto the feed. So you'll be able to be even more personal with us. You'll be able to follow us individually and as a group. There's just so much going on in the new iteration that I'm super excited for it. I'm not going to say goodbye to Word Ninjas. Word Ninjas is saying goodbye to us.
As they disappear into the night.
I shot it in the face.
Oh.
I'm sorry. It's still alive, but don't look at it. Don't look at it.
So that's what
Turn
those
away.
noises were.
Turn away.
Yes, by no means is this goodbye. This is merely, we will see you next time. And like a Time Lord, we may have a new face.
Oh, and
I
this
like
isn't
that
one of
analogy a
those.
lot. I was just saying, I really like that analogy.
I don't understand that reference. Just kidding. I think I know. No, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, and this isn't one of those things where we're like, oh, yeah, we have lots of things planned, and we'll see you next month, and then you never hear from us again. Most of the stuff is already in place. We're finalizing everything and streamlining processes right now. This is not a, hey, let's plan on doing something in the future, and then we all fucking forget about it in another month.
That was last year.
Right. This is real. We are really doing this.
We
And
already have content created and recorded.
And I have the bank statement to prove it. This is real. We're doing it. I mean, not you and me, the audience, but we can, I guess. I have to ask my wife. There's a
We
double
already
standard
read
thing
that
going
slash
on.
fic.
Ugh, that's right. Forgot about that. You know what? I'm wrong. Shut it all down. We're not coming back next month. It was too much.
So, in short, we're super duper serial, you guys. Super duper serial.
I don't support that statement. I know it's a reference to something that happened in culture.
You are correct.
But I'm not a fan. Dude, how about that new Star Wars movie, though? Am I the only one in the group that's seen it so far?
I've worked about as many hours as you have lately, so no, I have not seen it.
I took a 3-hour lunch break on a Tuesday to go see it. It was supposed to be a 2-hour lunch break, but that movie's long. To kind of send us off, I'm going to hit this button on my computer that says follow my face, which will make the camera somehow follow my face, theoretically. And then I'm going to move around and stuff while CJ says his closing words and shuts the feed off. But figured we'd add some technical difficulty and hilarity to the situation. So let's see what this does. Oh boy. That was okay. That seems unnecessary.
While we get the dramatic zoom in, I'm going to try and not laugh as we do our outro. This has been a wild ride, and I appreciate each and every one of you for joining us for it, however long you may have done so, even if it's just been for one episode or all 123. I do look forward to seeing you all in the new podcast and through all of our new content coming up and everything else that we are planning in the next month. For the moment, you can still check us out via fcwriters.com, where our entire archive and backlog of everything that we've done is there for your viewing pleasure. You can also chat with us via social media over on Facebook, facebook.com/fullcoveragewriters, Tumblr, FC Word Ninja, Twitter @FCWordNinja, and YouTube. Just search for Full Coverage Writers or Word Ninjas Live or our Game Break series will pop up. And once we have everything set up in our shiny new company, we will post it everywhere so you can track us down and see all the crazy shenanigans that we're going to get up to. But until then, where can all of our viewers and listeners find people respectably on our crew? Starting with Will.
Hey, it's me. Probably best to do me first before I pass out from Concrud. As usual, you can find me on my personal Tumblr page at darkom.tumblr.com, where I mostly work on posting random personal things. Or, since we're doing this, you can check out my newly rebranded writing blog at darkomwrites.tumblr.com, where I'll put all writing things down. And of course, you can check out my newly reworked Patreon page at patreon.com/darkom, where there are new rewards. Hooray!
Yay! And where can people find the dramatic Justin?
You can find me at mechanicaljustin.com, which will probably in the future reroute to our new website with my personal author feed. So probably won't need to pimp that nearly as much. And you can find me on Twitter at MJOnTap. And that's where I post all my Twittery things.
And how about Calvin?
Let's see. All the places you can find me You can check out my website, calvin.cwillia.ms. That's basically Calvin C. Williams in a fancy website form. You could also find me on Twitter at CCWII. Same handle on Instagram. You can also, if you want to check out some of my music, you can go to soundcloud.com/sounds by Calvin. And I think that about covers most of the social media stuff for me. Come find me and say hello.
And as for myself, you can try and track me down on Tumblr, fancypantswolf.tumblr.com. Twitter is silver_wolf85. And that's really the only places that I'm on social media. I'm very easily distracted by shiny baubles, so I tend not to actually be on social media much, but if you send me a message or an @ reply or whatever it is the various social medias have, I will notice, and I will check it and respond accordingly. And with that, we bid you not farewell, not even good night or good morning or whatever time you happen to be watching or listening to this, but until next time. It has been fun. We are heading off into the distance, towards the horizon, dramatically, as the music swells, and we fade to black.
If only we could fade to black on this Google Hangouts, that would be sweet.
The dramatic zoom out of Justin's frowny face does the trick, as necessary.
I figured that would help. Just follow my facing as creepy as fuck.
On that note, we will see you all next time. Until then, everyone, go be creative. Go have some fun. Go make something new so we can discuss it next time on episode 1 of whatever we name the new podcast.